Yeah. The rainbow. What can anybody tell me about the rainbow? Oh, by the way, if you're all surprised I'm standing up here, is I've switched the lineup. I'm going to do the first Sabbath lesson. Just so in case you find yourself, Brother Jones found himself doing the first week Sabbath lessons in the morning. He don't have a conflict trying to do his evening lesson. That seems to be a problem, so we'll fix that. Okay. The rainbow. What can you tell me? I know everybody have seen a rainbow, right?
Yep. Yep.
Sarai, have you seen a rainbow? Was that a yes? A no? I take it it's a maybe. Sarai, she's quite sure what that is. So everybody else here have seen a rainbow?
Yes. Explain to her what it is.
Well, she want to know. She's hiding behind her grandma's back.
That's all right. Y'all make her shame.
I make you ashamed?
Yeah.
Oh, I know why she's ashamed. She lost her teeth. Do you know what a rainbow is?
Yes.
Thank you. Can anyone here tell me something about a rainbow that you know from your experience, from what you have learned throughout the years? Anybody?
Isn't it a covenant
Yes.
between Noah and God?
Okay. Yes. Brother Jones.
Morning.
God says a sign between God and himself that he made, that he never, when we see it, he'll never destroy his earth again by water.
Okay. Jeanette.
Usually, like, I haven't really seen it here, but in Belize, when it rains a lot, after it rains, the final rain, then you see the rainbow.
Okay. So usually you're saying usually comes up after rain, heavy rain.
Every rain.
Okay. Brother Jones, the question is, what can you tell me from your experience? I am taking it on faith that you know what a rainbow is. What can you tell us from your experience and from the knowledge that you have gained in the past? Can you tell us anything about the rainbow? That's the question. Sister Joy said, Sister Irene says it's a covenant. Sister Joyce basically said the same thing. Jeanette gave us her practical experience that every time after heavy rains, usually when the rain thing is over, the rainbow comes out.
Well, I tend to share the same thought with Sister J.
Right.
As I recall rainbows, it has to be raining someplace, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on your block or in your neighborhood. But when the sun breaks through and it's raining someplace else, the sunlight mingled with rain is what causes the rainbow. That's been my experience.
All right. Anyone else? No? Yes? Thank you. How many colors do you think, from what you've seen, how many different colors do you see?
3.
3? 4? Okay, 4. So the consensus is 4. Well, I've come 5. But the expert says there's 7 different colors.
7.
Yeah, that's what they say. Well, my eyes tells me it's 5. I've tried Compton before, like Jeanette's experience. In Belize, it rains a lot. Right? They got what you call a rainy season. That doesn't exist here in California. We have rainy season, but sometimes it doesn't rain at all. But in rainy season, the rain would come down and downpour for about days sometimes at a time. 2-3 days, it rains non-stop. And maybe the 3rd day morning, you come out, you're expecting, oh, it's going to rain, because half the people don't listen to the weatherman or the weather person. And The third morning you come out, you say, well, you know, put on your boots and everything, and your rain slick and everything, and your little hat, because it's drizzling there. You expect it's going to, and it's cloudy. And all of a sudden, like something just turn off the spigot. The rain stops, the cloud opens, the sun comes out. But just before the sun comes out, you see the rainbow in the sky. And folks says, that's it, stop raining, at least for now. And it's usually true. 3, 4, 5 days later, it starts raining again. Irene.
Okay. Now the experts, like you said, they said 7. So here are the colors, and probably when you look at them, they kind of intertwine. But there's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
Right.
Those are the colors.
Now, what color is indigo?
What I'm looking at, it looks like a
Like a blue, right?
a purple blue.
It's purple.
Yeah, but violet is purple.
So they're
It's
both
in the-
purple.
in the
They're light.
family.
One is light, and the other one is dark.
But like together, like dark
they're
blue
uh-huh.
and.
Yeah.
So like they have the violet,
Well, those are the primary.
then they have an order starting to the right.
But red is usually the
one on
prominent
the
color that
outside.
you always see first.
It's
right?
on the outside.
Right,
Red.
you
And
usually
then
see
after
that
the
one.
red, next to that is the orange.
Orange and
Oh,
green.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the colors I remember seeing.
Hello.
Red,
Hi, are you
orange, green,
there? Okay, on my way. All right, bye.
blue.
My husband is coming to get you, okay?
Right? So
All right, let me call you. All right.
that's how I normally see it. Okay, so
Can you say that after a storm, there's just the sunshine and the rainbow?
can you say that after a storm?
After there's a storm, anybody's life, whether it's rain, whether it's cancer, whether it's any type of illness, there's always, God always have like the negative and positive.
Okay, so you say the rainbow is a positive,
Yeah.
like the promise.
Right.
Okay, I believe you can. Y'all got that? Everybody got that?
Yeah, but I mean, with the colors, I
Mhm.
mean, I think that we all should know the Bible doesn't give the colors,
Mhm.
but the colors that were stated, those are primary colors.
Mhm.
Those are colors that come from man. I was taught that in school, that those are the primary colors, your base colors, when you can mix and mingle to make new colors. So, I mean, I think when we look at the rainbow, we come on our own assumption of what colors that we see that are there, not there. But it's different, I think, based on how big the rainbow is, how small it is, so forth and so forth.
You're philosophizing. What do you see when you see the rainbow?
Well,
I
I
know
mean,
coming from the east, from the south, you've seen a lot of rainbows.
yeah, I have, and my colors.
What do you see?
I see yellow, I see red, I see blue. I can't say I've ever seen purple in the rainbow. I mean, maybe a little red, but I mean, it's
But
different.
those are the main colors you've seen, right?
Yeah, those are colors I've seen, but going with the primary colors, no, I don't believe those are the colors of the rainbow.
All right, so we basically, I began that way, so basically for us to basically get the understanding that we know what a rainbow looks like. So we know what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Right.
In the study, in the written study, which is taken from Genesis 8, verse 20 through 22, and Genesis 9, verse 18 through verse 8 through 17, he's talking about several players in the lesson. Amen. Who is one of the primary players in the lesson?
Noah is the primary.
Noah. Thank you, brother. Noah is one of the primary players in the lesson. Who else?
His sons.
His sons. Okay, I can accept that.
The
Who are his sons?
animals that were in the boat are the primary players too, because
Okay.
God mentioned them in there.
Okay.
So the animals.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody always cheering for the animals. Hey, the animals.
Don't leave the animals out.
Y'all saw Houston, right?
Yeah.
Adam, poor animals are being saved. That's why I could never be mean to an animal. Because an animal is a dumb animal. And God put them on this earth for us to care for them. Y'all know that, right?
Yes.
although you go to the safari, the lions, right? If you put yourself, the lion might eat you. But that's a given. You don't go out there and parade around a hungry lion, or right here in the forest, the bear might, a black bear, a brown bear might eat you.
But he's food in his own body.
That's right. Especially if, even me know this. Sorry. If you go into the woods around February, March, when the bear comes out of hibernation, the bear is very hungry.
Right.
Can even asleep from November.
Fasting.
That's right. I mean, he comes out around that time. And you find yourself with that bear going to eat you. That's right. Now, if you see him in August, and you say, hey, bear might run away. Right? But don't fool around February, March, April. You might got a problem there.
You had a hand, Pastor.
Brother Jones, thank you.
I lost the thought.
I'll come back to you, brother. Come back, just raise your hand.
Well, I'll share mine.
Okay.
It's real quick.
Okay.
My star not done. She's very smart.
Your what?
My star.
Her dog.
Oh, your dog. Oh, you mean that little play dog?
I gotta defend my fur baby.
You see, that goes hand in hand with your comment. You earlier comment with the collars, when man intrude in the collars. Mm-hmm. That little toy dog there. Man mix and match the DNA.
We're not supposed to be mean to the animals, but we shouldn't put them above human beings either.
Very important point. Sister Sonia brought up. Did Brother Jones hear you? Brother Jones, he said no.
Oh, she said that we shouldn't put animals above people. Is what we shouldn't.
Yeah.
What we shouldn't do.
All right.
That brings about 2 more questions. 3 questions anyway.
You gotta remember the pastor.
Okay, sure. The thought came back, like you said. The key players in those times was his daughter-in-laws.
He was?
Yeah. It was, had 4 sons and they had 4 wives.
3 sons and 3 wives.
3 sons and 3 wives.
Yeah, but the wives didn't come into play with God.
The Bible didn't even name
He
it.
didn't mention the women. He
I
just,
didn't even know his wife.
they mentioned the animals before the women. Okay, you always remember that.
I'd like to add also one of the major players in
It's
the
God.
lesson is the Lord. That's
Yeah,
right.
God is the key player. He's the main key player. The door is the one.
Okay, let's get to it. We already talked about the rainbow. Now we also talked about what man says the rainbow is, but we didn't talk too much about that.
One more thought before you move on.
Give it to
Do
us,
you
brother.
think there'll be a place in God's kingdom for animals or no?
He said so.
He said
He said
that.
so in Isaiah.
Yeah, he said that.
What did he say?
He said the lion and the lamb are gonna
Gonna lay in the hay together,
Okay.
and the lion ain't gonna eat it.
That's right.
That's right. There are no more
All right.
That way, hey, are you chicken eaters? And lamb eaters.
Hey, the lamb is good for you.
I'm in trouble.
But tell you the truth, one of my favorite shows is Life Below Zero.
Yeah.
When them guys that kill a moose is about 1,200 pounds.
Oh, that's a
When
lot
they're
of meat.
skinning that moose, man, I'm thinking, I wonder how that moose tastes. I say, if I need to know how that moose tastes, I better hurry up. If I die when Jesus comes, I won't get a chance to taste the moose because there won't be no moose eating. I saw Sonia's hands and then Sister Joyce.
So without the rainbow, we would still be suffering
Floods.
curse.
We still suffer from curse.
We suffer from the Lord.
That you mean that specific curse?
Yeah, that's specific.
What curse is he talking about then?
The water, the flooding the whole earth.
Well, it's not. That's correct. Good job. The curse that the lesson is talking about. God will never flood the earth again, the whole earth again, right? With water. But we still suffer. We just saw Houston.
Yeah, but it's not the earth.
we establish that. Thank you. Sister Joyce.
I got a lot of things going on in my kitchen. And this week, I have no problem with anybody wanting to eat clean meats. Because I'm telling you, vegetarian food is high because I'm paying $20 a pound for fake bacon. Okay? And that's wrong. That's why I will never go back to meat eating. But I question this vegetarian food. Because it's terrible. Why don't we pay $20 per pound of imitation?
Soybean.
And there are things that is clean out of my mind. So I have no problem. God said, eat the clean meat, not the blood. Because if you eat the blood, it's going to require whatever. So more power to salmon and whatever is clean. I have no problem. Okay?
Otha.
That'll have to come back to me.
Another one?
Sorry about that.
Go ahead, Brother Jones. We're laughing at your expense, brother.
I
You don't
don't
mind.
take up your time.
Oh, so you'll say no? Okay.
I'll say it.
Just in case you have some time. I thought you again, Sonia, for me. You
I
guys gonna give me.
I just wanted to tell you,
Go ahead.
you were sitting here talking about the moose. Let me tell y'all something. Camel is really good. It's really.
But you're not supposed to eat camel.
Why?
It's unclean.
Okay, well, and I ate it, and it was good. I'm just letting you know, I ate it. It was good.
Probably a lean meat too, huh?
Yeah, the
Not
lean meat.
fat.
Yeah, it was the lean meat. It was the lean meat. Yeah.
It's like a horse.
It's like horse. Yeah, you remember that horse family? Sonia.
What was I going to say? I
You joke with it.
I remember what Sister Joyce said. Even the vegetarian meat is bad. Everything, they all bad for you.
Yeah, it's all bad.
It's full of sodium. it's full
Amen.
of A lot of stuff in it, so it's all bad.
And God knows what else to put in it. Because that's not just soybean.
Soy is bad.
Hummus. Anybody here eat hummus?
Ooh, I hate
Yes.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hummus.
You do not.
Hummus.
You eat hummus.
Michelle is talking for your taste buds.
He
Hummus
does.
is beans.
It's what?
It's
a
beans.
It's made from beans.
Yeah.
Oh, beans. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
beans like red beans. I don't think it's red beans. Guys, them camel jockeys, so they don't have red beans. But I just want I don't want to deal with the pig. I want to camel back on what Sister Sonia and Sister Joyce said. Meat, God designed. I realize, this is something I realized, I come to realize, that God designed man now to eat meat.
Say that again.
I've learned that. You know how I learned that?
I didn't-
Forget what the players that tell you about protein. That's one of the highest gifts you get from meat is protein. But one of the other things that is important that you get from meat is fat. You cannot be a vegetarian in the North Pole. You will die because your body needs fat. That's why you look at all the players in the North Pole, all of them, they're meat eaters, including the Eskimos. The, what's the bear, the white bear called?
The polar bear.
Polar bears. You know, show fat he is. Walrus, everybody, because your body needs fat to fight cold. If you be a vegetarian, you see these vegetarians, these vegans in West Hollywood, you see these folks that they're drawn, they're skinny, they're so skinny, they're drawn, you would die. You would die in the North Pole because your body needs fat and you can't get enough fat from plants. You can't get enough. You got to get it from meat. God just designed it that way. So if you want to be a vegetarian, worse a vegan, you want to go north, you want to go south. Plain and simple. Now,
Not too far south.
that's true. Hey, it goes to everything with life, right? Moderation, right? Anything on the extreme, you're going to have problems with, right? If you go extreme vegetarian, you just heard vegetarian meat is contaminated with salt, right? That's the ignite your taste buds. And then you eat meat, too much meat, you're prone for cancer. So you got to, that's right, that's right. But you know what? I don't know how we get on the food part. Well, with the clean meat, I guess that came in. Fish. Now, when you talk about fish, there's a fish that I like, and I think it's an unclean fish. I haven't really confirmed yet. Halibut.
It's not unclean.
It's not unclean?
It has scales.
It has scales? Okay. But I know one thing about halibut that I don't like about it, besides the taste, because I love the halibut taste of the meat. It's a bottom feeder. You know what God designed bottom feeders for, right?
Yeah.
Scavengers. See, that's good. It's good for you to know these things when you make a decision. You make a decision with your eyes wide open.
And shrimp is one of them clean shrimp.
Oh, you know which one is an unclean meat? I know. Sister Irene likes it.
Catfish.
Catfish. Thank you, Sister.
That's the worst one.
Yeah. We don't eat, Belizeans don't eat catfish.
That's the worst fish you can eat.
Yes. A lot of black folks like catfish.
Because they don't know no better.
Like chitlins.
No, because they're used to it.
They don't, that's what they gave them when they brought them over here.
Catfish?
Catfish, pig, that's what they gave them.
Well, I can't say they gave me that because we used to raise pigs. And chicharron, which is the pig, the steak belly.
Yeah,
the fat belly. You fry that sucker out, the smell of it is, oh boy, we're going to eat today.
That's good eating right there. Put some hot sauce on it.
When you come out of there, your jar is big, fat, and greasy. Anyway, the first part of the lesson, I'm going to read through the lesson real quick. Chapter 8, verse 20-22. And Noah built an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savour. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. And then the lesson jumps to chapter 9, verse 8-17. And God spake unto Noah, unto his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl and of the cattle and of the beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I have made between me and you, and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generation.
Forever.
What does perpetual generation mean?
Forever
Okay.
and ever.
Thank you. 13. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass when I bring cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the clouds, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. What does the word token mean?
What you say now?
What does the word token mean? Sign.
It's a sign, okay, I'll say a sign. Okay.
Thank you, Tyrone. It means sign. So the rainbow is a sign.
Yeah.
Man doesn't say that. Man went the direction where Jones was going, where the sun rays shine through drops of rain, and it gives us a reflection, and it reflects to our eyes in colors. And that's scientifically what man says rainbow is. Well, that's not what God said.
Amen.
No, I'm not saying that they in contrast of each other. They may be, but there is no conflict. I don't see no conflict. Determine what the makeup or the makeup of something is doesn't determine the purpose, right?
That's right.
Or its origin.
Right?
That's right. Purpose of God.
God gives us the purpose
Amen.
of the rainbow. You could take your time and study the rainbow, and God say, good, more power to you.
Really?
But the purpose of the rainbow, I got to get Brother Jones before he forgets.
Before I lose the thought again. Speaking of floods, a little bit off track, but speaking of
Right on
floods,
time, brother.
have you ever been traveling down the highway and once you get out of town, you're out on the desert in a mountainous area and there's no shrubbery growing, but mainly desert type terrain. If you look at the mountains, you see layers, different color,
Like the Grand Canyon.
like the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
I'm going to say different colored strata there. Do you think that's a result? I mean, the teaching in public school is something different, but do you think that's a result of the flood that God brought many years ago?
Yes,
Yes.
I think that.
All right.
And that comes from my belief, right?
Right.
Because
Okay.
I believe that God, the
So
flood.
that strata is created by water at one level, it stays there
To
for.
confirm that, brother, to find seashells there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay, in the first verse, Noah built an altar. It means here, and took every clean beast and every clean fowl and offer a burnt offering on the altar. So that tells us, just this verse alone tells us that this is after the flood, right?
Yes.
That is what?
That this is after the flood.
Oh, it
Okay.
had to be.
And I know it had to be what is in the ark. It
It
was.
had to be after the
Right?
You understand how your mind works and how your mind connects with what you already studied? You don't walk around repeating these type of information, or because you already study it, by just reading that first verse, you already know from what you already studied. Right? that this is after the flood.
Yes. Amen.
Why? Because we know that Noah took how many types of clean beasts into the ark?
7.
7.
Now, this verse also tells us why he took 7 clean animals, pairs of clean animals in, right?
Yeah, to make a sacrifice to the Lord. You can't make a sacrifice to the Lord with unclean animals.
Because he's going to use some of them for sacrifice.
Thank you.
And then the rest to what?
To multiply the earth.
Right.
Because Pastor, everything died. Like I said, every living thing died. So there was no other animal out there when the flood was over, right?
Correct.
So you have to use what you have.
And just for our admonition, the unclean animals are not mentioned in this verse, right?
Amen.
No.
Correct. Thank you both. And the reason for that is what?
Well, he only took them 2 by 2. If he would have killed one of them, they can't mate. The other one can't mate. So that's why he didn't mention the unclean animal.
So that's common sense, right?
Well, I tried to tell you that earlier about the common sense thing. You didn't want to listen to me. But, we still got it. We there. We there.
Remember what I told you?
I got you. I got you.
What else does it tell us about the unclean animals? Verse 1,
Hold on, let me see.
verse 20.
What is he?
It tells us that unclean animals are not used for sacrifice.
Sacrificing, yeah, I just said that earlier. I said you can't sacrifice them.
Oh, okay.
I just said that earlier, Pastor. You ain't listening. Go ahead.
Okay. Who was Noah? Anybody?
Godson?
No. No.
That's true?
Well,
I mean-
if that's the case, then all of us God's sons, and we
We
killed them
are.
all because they were listening.
No. I don't know if
Wait a
Michelle
minute.
meant to say that, but Luke, that's what, if you look through the genealogy in Luke, it leads all the way to Noah. And at the last verse, I think it's chapter 3 of Luke, he calls him the Son of God. So Michelle is right on time on that one.
Okay.
Golly. let's make sure of that. Luke chapter 3.
Okay, Pastor, as we're going to Luke chapter 3, the smell of sweet savor, is that the smell of blood?
Yeah, I would say that. Burnt
God,
meat.
I would say yes.
Sacrifice meat.
Blood.
It's like barbecue.
Blood.
It's like barbecue. I don't eat meat, but when my neighbors are barbecuing, I said, somebody's barbecuing. And then when I used to live on 17th Street, my Hispanic neighbor, he calls it barbecue, but you can tell his meat is burnt. Your nose tells you that's burnt meat. So that's not a sweet smelling savor, right? You understand what I'm saying?
You got a hand, Pastor.
Go ahead, Tyrone.
Just another alternative view. Not thinking of God in human terms with a nose that can smell. I think of him when he says a sweet
God smelling.
smelling savor. Just like we sing the song, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice and let our song be a sweet sound in your ear. So when the sacrifices went up that were acceptable to God, they were a sweet smelling savor to his, although we don't think of God in human terms as having a nose that can smell,
Because he doesn't have one.
right.
Because he's a spirit.
The sweet smelling savor to me is he accepts the sacrifice, it is pleasing to him,
Right.
because it's coming from clean vessels, and that's my take on it.
Right. Actually, that's an important point because it's metaphoric.
Right.
It's not literal that God has a nose. God's going to barbecue. Some people think in those terms. I mean, fine, if you think in those terms, I'm not the one to discourage you.
Right.
I will share with you what you got to learn to read the Bible in context.
Amen.
Right? But we are human beings. You tell people things, and people hear just maybe one or two words of a sentence that you give them, and then they color the rest of it with what they think.
Right.
And then they change the message completely. That's how people are. They're human beings. But Luke chapter 3, right? I think it's the last verse, verse 38. It says, which was the son of Enoch, which is, it means Enoch, right? Which was the son of Seth,
Which was the son of Adam.
which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God.
Okay.
I remember seeing that somewhere. Okay, so Adam was the son of God, but what I want to bring up about Adam, Peter called him a righteous preacher. That's what Peter called him, a righteous preacher. Why did Peter call him that, church? Church, you heard the question?
No, go ahead, Pastor, again, sorry.
You guys should be paying attention.
I have a question.
I'm sorry,
Let me
it's
get
my
that
fault.
one answered.
Okay. Why did Peter call Noah a righteous preacher? Why did Peter call him a righteous preacher?
He's a righteous man.
Because God
He
saw
obeyed God.
him.
Because, you Sister Joyce?
I spoke to him.
Well, you said because God did something.
He's a righteous man, which the righteousness of God.
Okay. Father?
I say he called him righteous because he obeyed God.
Okay. Irene?
I agree with both.
Okay.
But
Tyrone?
Genesis calls him a righteous man, I believe.
Who?
Moses called him a righteous man in Genesis.
Right. But in Peter, 2 Peter chapter 2, Peter says, this is what Peter says about Noah. Verse 5, it says, and spare not the old world, but save Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. Yes.
Okay, because if you go back and you really read the book of Noah, the study Noah, Noah went around for hundreds of years preaching and telling people that the earth was going to be
It's
flooded,
gonna rain.
that God was going to rain, and everybody that he talked to it ain't gonna rain, it ain't gonna rain, it ain't gonna rain. So it wasn't like Noah was going around lying to people. He was telling them the truth, but by it not raining where they were, I guess they hadn't seen rain for a long time. That was going to
They didn't know
happen.
what rain was.
Yeah, okay. So if you've never seen it before and someone's telling you that this is going to happen, most other people are not going to believe you.
That's right.
And to me, Pastor, most of those people that Noah was talking to, probably to me, they didn't even know God. Because if they would have known God, they would have known that that's where Noah got this from. It ain't like he just got up out of the thing. You know, he wasn't a meteorologist, so he couldn't say that the rain's coming from the north.
That's the same problem we have today, right? You gotta believe God by faith, right? Irene.
Okay, I have a question. I think it's pretty much been answered. So, but one of the questions that you asked is, you know, who was Noah? So, when God saw him as being a righteous man, and when he determined that he was going to destroy the earth, and he did do that, didn't that made Noah become his son? Because everybody else before them had been destroyed.
Also using the power of deduction.
Yes. Would that be correct? I don't know.
I see a problem with it. We still come to the same conclusion. Remind me when I took math in school. Some people use the long version to get to the same answer, and some use the short version. The only problem with the teacher wants you to show him or her how you got to the answer using the short version. Because the long version shows you, right?
Right. Okay. Then on that same premise, I don't want to get off the subject, but it's like at IRS when you go to training, especially for the African Americans or the blacks, they wanted us to do it the long way to get to how you calculate the
To see if
statute.
you qualify.
Yeah, but then the white boys, they just gave them the short version.
Right.
You know, until somebody found out the short version and then told us. And then, well, how did you come up with that answer? And then we had to have a smart mouth of saying, but that's not the answer, though. It doesn't matter to me.
Did you guys start using the short version?
We sure did.
Because
And, you know,
people are like water.
They already knew what the short answer was, but they wouldn't tell us. But they made us go through all this calculation when the answer was so very brief.
You know what? You know the short version is not good, right?
You know what? I don't agree with that. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay. Short, quickly.
Well, the short version is what it is. Mm-hmm. And you can't take it back. That's the short version. But it still came to the same conclusion.
I agree.
Period.
Okay, well, let me tell you why. Sonia, get ready. The reason why the short version is not good for us is it's like taking shortcuts.
Right. I agree.
Today, most young people don't even know how to count. You see them working at the register, as soon as the register go blink, 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 they can't calculate.
Right.
Because they're used to a calculator, which is a shortcut.
Well, see, I don't agree with that one.
You already gave me an answer, Sonia.
I don't agree.
This lesson shows me that those that are called by God, God prepares them for their task or their calling. Only Noah could build this ark by being equipped by God himself.
Right. Y'all heard what Sonia said?
Not all of it.
Guys are talking again.
Not me.
Which is rude.
She's soft-spoken.
That's true.
Who was I talking to?
Sonia?
Did you go like Say it again, something. Because I didn't agree with what you said when somebody got called everybody.
Sonia speaks to that Tyrone and brother. Did you hear Sonia?
I didn't. When you said we were talking, I wasn't talking.
I
didn't
said
hear.
wait. Go ahead,
Were you
Sonia.
able to interpret what I said?
No.
Speak loud, Sonia.
So I believe that God calls his people. Yeah, it's his people that calls. So the ones that are called, God prepared them and equipped them for the job that he has for them, the purpose they have here on earth. Noah could not build that ark by himself. God is the one that built that ark using Noah. That's his purpose in life.
Amen. Tyrone.
And just to add, because we're talking about Noah being a preacher. Yes, Noah preached. He was a preacher of righteousness, but he also was building.
He was a builder.
He was building. Not only was he preaching that it's going to rain, but he was also building an ark. So for those who did not believe the words coming out of his mouth, maybe you will believe my actions. Because, okay, I'm telling you that it's going to rain. And okay, I'm telling you it's going to rain, but I don't have a boat, I don't have anything to protect myself. But I'm telling you it's going to rain, and I'm building an ark at the same time. So that will get me to thinking like, okay, maybe it's going to, I never heard of rain, we never had it, but maybe this guy here he's on to something,
Jesus said that to you. Jesus said, if you don't believe me, believe me for the what?
The word
said. The word said. Right? So you don't believe that I'm the Son of God. Isn't that what Nicodemus told him? When Nicodemus came by night, isn't that what Nicodemus told him? He said, no man can do what you do unless God sends you. Right. Isn't that what he said?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
So, right. Okay, so just so we know, we touched on this earlier, right? We touched on a little bit of clean animals, and we didn't touch at all on unclean animals. Well, we did. But I want to segue from there into the Genesis 9. Are you with me, folks?
Go ahead.
Here, Noah, the covenant is made with Noah and his sons and their wives and Noah's wife. Poor fella is confused.
Y'all been choking me to death.
I'll show you why I say that.
I know you're going to say that all flesh. I already got you. I know that's what you were going to say because Michelle already said it to me, but that's not necessarily meaning that woman, Pastor. So don't be saying that, Pastor, because he didn't say that. He just said all flesh. He could have been all flesh of the animals because animals are flesh too.
I'm glad you're speaking to your wife.
Am I not flesh?
Well, you don't need to convince yourself.
See, there y'all go, assuming.
No. The scripture is clear.
All flesh.
God in verse 9 it says, I establish my covenant with you and your seed after you. And with every living creature, including the animals.
Of course, Star.
He says that. Right? He says, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, of the beasts of the earth, for all that go out of the ark, and to every beast of the earth. God promised, because you got to think about this. When the flood came, all the animals died too, except the ones that were in the ark. Got to remember that, right? Verse 11, I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by water of a flood, neither shall be there any more of a flood to destroy the earth. Y'all notice that the covenant is not that God will stop sending flood, right?
Yeah, just not killing everybody. He won't do no more.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And we see a good example with Houston, right? As we speak, Houston is being...
I was trying to remember with Katrina, how many people were killed with Katrina? I guess I can remember that.
116 or something like that.
116,000, right? Okay.
No, 116 people.
Oh, then I'm thinking about the tsunami then.
Yeah, the tsunami killed 250,000.
Okay.
225,000. That's a lot of people.
It sure is.
Let's say Harvey is up to what, 45 right now?
Is it 45? I thought it
Yeah,
was
about
50.
45, I think this year.
47 is after that.
Really?
47.
How many?
But those are the ones that they found after the
So
flood.
far, yeah. The water still haven't completely receded in all areas. So verse 12 it says, and God said, this is the token, which he's talking about the rainbow, the token of the covenant which I've made between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generation.
14.
So this agreement is sealed. And our faith teaches us that it is true. As believers, when you see a rainbow, you don't think about simply just the colors, right? As believers, you say, God is a promise keeper, right? Right, church?
Right.
Oh man, I gotta squeeze you
God
like
calling
so.
the covenant keeper.
Verse 30 says, I do set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. Right? And it shall come to pass, I will bring a cloud. When I bring a cloud, thank you, Sister Joyce, over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant. Like Tyrone said, it's not like God forgets.
Amen.
Amen.
Right? All these things are written for our admonition. When it says that, and this kind you have to think about, Moses is writing this under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, right? So and when a man writes, a man got to write from his experience. You understand? You don't write outside of your experience. You include, you dot it with your experience, because you are you. That's what John said. I saw a four-headed beast. Man is writing from his knowledge and understanding, guided by the Holy Spirit. So when Moses writes that God smelled it, he's writing to us, for us to understand. That means God accepted. And I will remember my covenant. God never forgets your covenant. Covenant agreement we made, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. Those are key issues in these sentences, all flesh. I've grown up with floods. Long-term flood, flash flood. You know what flash flood is, right? The kind that comes at night when you're in bed. And when you wake up, you put your foot, you got snakes in the water. That's called flash flood. A dam is broken, or the river, the water just come down too quick. That's what happened to Houston. Harvey went in, dumped so many gallons of water, went back out, built up some strength, come back and dump some more water. They said over 1 trillion gallons of water. That's a lot of water. 50 inches of water. That's almost 5 feet.
But
Can you
it was
imagine
actually
that?
on the news, they said they got 55 feet of water.
No, inches.
Well, okay, well.
55
inches,
feet.
okay.
55 feet.
Well, I thought it was 55 feet of water, but he said
Inches.
around the whole place there.
It's inches.
Okay, 55 inches then, okay.
Verse 16, and the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, and that I may remember the everlasting covenant God made with every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Let's close with Numbers 23.
Numbers chapter 23?
Yes, sir. 19 and 20. Somebody want to read that?
Okay. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? For hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it.
Did you hear that, church? When God bless you, he's not going to take it away from you.
Yeah, but how do you know it's God? That's what you better ask yourself. If the other God
Let us
blesses too.
stand, please. Gracious Father God, Lord, we